Okay, so we're going to be working on getting ourselves back to not so much delay, but I'm going to try to do what I can with the video from that you're seeing. So we do know that we found the recorder, which is going to be huge because that allows us to get to all these dungeons that we haven't discovered yet.
Oh, right. And with that, everyone, do apologize for that. I know you all are very, very happy that you had about a 3-minute reprieve from having to listen to me talk. I know that Krim was happy with that too. So this was just a scheduled break, so you all didn't have to listen to me. Nothing more, nothing less. But with that, we have the hint that recorder is somewhere in 2. We have a ladder on Rue's side. So Rick and Rue, why does that sound like it should be a name of like a weird like stage duet in the Winnie the Pooh universe?
Because Rue exists in the Winnie the Pooh universe?
Well, I know that, but I'm trying here, and it's not working, and it's weird. And both we have Rue and JSR going up the mountain ahead to Vanilla 5, and we do find the letter up here. Of note, because of the mirrored overworld, we cannot clip into level 5. However, one of the things that the mirrored overworld does allow us to do, as Javeth has found, hey, look at that, Javeth has found a level in the graveyard, and it is level 6. We know the any keys in there, he doesn't. And as I was saying, the mirrored overworld, while not allowing us to clip into the level 5 area, does allow us to do a screen scroll into the coast raft spot, which is really, really weird. Alright, continuing on, we have found some of our any roads. JSR opting to take a look at the waterfall cave, or the cave above the waterfall first, before opting to go ahead and enter into that to see where they go. Having knowledge of where the any roads go is huge, especially if there's one close enough to start that you can, well, utilize it to get yourself around here. Oh, it's especially going to be useful on the second or third iterations if they go somewhere where you need to get to quickly.
Yeah, we also see really good information there on Javeth's side. We have bombs that are only 4 rupees each, which is huge because that means, well, they're going to be affordable.
Well, I mean, there is nothing wrong with affordable explosives, especially in a seed like this where we don't know where the bomb holes are going to be located. So being able to have a cheap way to restock on them is gigantic. And there is the clip I was telling you about into the raft spot. Hey, it's not a bad clip there because it is going to be 126 rupees. It is a large secret. So good information for Rue to have there, especially because that one's fairly free to get to.
Yeah, actually, that has a very convenient location because they can sort of route that in with their visit to level 3. Because, well, first of all, they need to go there for a tripost, but 3 also holds the red candle, which is going to be a valuable tool to have. So I could see them using that clip to get over there after they grab the red candle out of 3.
Yeah, so far we have found, we know where 4 of our levels are, levels 2, 3, 4, and 6. Well, technically we also know where level 9 is, but that really doesn't count right now, I guess. Does it? Does it count right now?
Yeah, that's really good information to have.
Also, JSR coming up with the information that bombs are cheap. Rick gonna go ahead pick up his wand over here. And that's all, folks. All right, I'm done. Crim, take it.
Well, thankfully, we are no longer going to have to listen to TGE, at least for a little bit. But, yeah, our runners are really doing what we expected them to do, and that is just try to find out as much information as possible. You will notice that Javeth is bombing a bunch of different spots here, does find his cave, and, well, we have another level, level 7.
Yep, so level 7, yeah. You'll notice the in, out, gone. Level 7 is one of those where you really don't want to necessarily explore it, especially at limited resources like they have right now, but having the knowledge of where it is definitely huge. And hey, right next door is level 5.
Yeah, level 5 is really dark. Javeth, I think, does run on natural consoles, so typically the palettes are a little bit darker on NES than they are on emulator, so that should be fun for navigation purposes on our side.
Hey, we're not the ones who have to map it out. They are. And Rick having some issues with the graves. There we go. Goes ahead and picks up one. There is his level 6. And Rick is going to go ahead and dig in there. We know, thanks to the hint that JSR saw, that one of the items in here is the any key. Also, Rick standing a little too close to the clock and freezing the Wallmasters. In most other rooms, you're happy to see a clock. In a Wallmaster room, you're just like, wow, wow.
Yeah, have to exit and re-enter to get the Wallmasters to actually spawn out of the wall again, so very unfortunate to pick up clocks, but I guess it's okay as long as you're not getting handed.
Yeah, absolutely. JSR also running into the same issues that Rue ran into earlier, not pushing the correct gravestone, so still doesn't know where level 6 is. And just something to keep in mind, Crim, we are coming up to 32 minutes and 30 seconds, which means we have just about 13 minutes left in this first iteration of the Groundhog Seed, and we still don't have all of the information. We're still missing level 1 and level 8.
Yeah, and I mean, that's everything we've pieced together from all the runners. So none of these runners have all the information we do. We don't have all the information, so we're going to be doing a lot more collecting in day 2.
The way this seed's going, my 38-day prediction is going to be right, isn't it?
Well, if so, have fun, because I don't think I'm going to be able to be around for 38 days.
No, probably not, but if the seed goes that long, I'm sure we can get a certain someone who shall not be named. I mean, they like 3-hour seeds, don't they? Also, we have found level 1, but more importantly, what is that map that Rick found?
I think that's the path that you can take to hit every state in the United States on a cross-country tour.
Like, not only is that 6 a weird map, but it's effectively segmented because we just found Zelda's room, which is preventing progression there. So even though it's a full connected unit, this is effectively a segmented 6.
Oh, it is definitely a segmented 6. You're just only going to have one ladder, which, luckily, Rick already has discovered where it was, and is in the second portion of it, because he did enter in the upper portion. So, yeah, you know, why not? Now, Rick may not have fully looked at the flags beforehand, but he actually does not need to clear out this room. This room will not have a drop-on, and we don't have second quest rooms, so there will not be a push block in here either.
Yep, and one thing we might have glossed over in the open, yes, this is a full 8 Triforces required thing. We've done our Pentaforce fun. We are back to, we need all 8 pieces of the Triforce, and we know this is going to be a staircase item because we've already found the transport staircase, and it is the any key that we knew about from JSR.
Yeah, it's a really nice item to get. It's going to help out with exploration. I can see Rick trying to route this location into his early uh, early final route just to get that any key so he doesn't have to worry about keys the rest of the way.
Yeah, so having this information is huge, and I would say right now, even though a couple of our runners here don't have all the same bits of information, apparently there's still a wall master in this room. Like JSR doesn't know where level 6 is. Rick doesn't know where level 1 is. I would say, just by virtue of the exploration that Rick has done here in 6, I would give him the edge of the 4 runners who we have on screen right now, just because he knows it's a fairly easy to get to and quick any key here in 6.
Yeah, I would say the information is pretty even between Rick and JSR because JSR knows the any keys in 6, and he also has the information about the recorder. So I would say that both of those items, having that information, is really big, especially because has JSR seen level 2?
Which level?
Level 2.
I don't remember if not.
If he has, then that's going to be huge for him because he can get there early, and I would say over even the any key and everything else, recorder is probably the most important item for our runners to get for their final run.
Oh, absolutely. The recorder to unfinished dungeons is just fantastic.
That's really going to be the thing that makes the final runs for these runners great. And oh my goodness, that's horrible for Javeth. Expecting it to be on that burn bush to be on one side ends up being on the other, so it has to go back down and around.
We have a very, very linear level 1 over on JSR side. Kind of reminds me a little bit of Second Quest 3.
Yeah, both 1 and 6 extremely linear levels.
The difference is 1 much shorter than 6.
And this room's still kind of annoying though. And we do see one of our floor items here in level 1, and it's just a heart. JSR doesn't care about it right now because he's not going to be keeping it for much longer, because we are under 7.5 minutes left to go in day 1.
Easy peasy to get Triforce here in level 1, and for JSR, he's going to have to go after it because he does not have a key to progress farther.
So our runners have to be a little leery of the time left, especially if you're Rick right now, because you're doing a lot of your a lot of the remaining time you're effectively just spending it on combat instead of getting more information. So that might be a little infuriating to him right now. I guess the same for JSR because, well, they're both running into blue dark nuts, and Rick does find the other item here in 6. It's just a heart container, so he's done the exploration he needs for that level.
Yeah, unfortunately, those blue dark nuts you mentioned, getting the best of our favorite little Z over there on JSR side. Even with the blue ring, blue dark nuts, still a pain in the butt.
I mean, obviously, they still do a full heart of damage, even with the blue ring, so...
Yeah, there's a reason the recorder room in level 5 in vanilla is called the Room of Requirement. But JSR going to go ahead and pick up his third Triforce, which doesn't mean anything in this grand scheme of things, because we are just about 5 minutes away from our first reset.
And Rude does discover level 1 and immediately exits. So my guess is that they are just deciding, you know what, I know where the level is, I don't have a lot of time left, let me finish up here in Death Mountain before I have to reset.
Yeah, 100% there. So the big thing that we have yet to come across here in this first iteration for all of our runners is we have not seen level 8. We have seen everything else except for level 8, and Javeth unfortunately coming across level 2, so he does know where it is, but there's one slight problem. We have no bombs.
Yeah, bombs are usually a problem for a lot of our runners, and well, as we say that, JSR actually gets one and has a count worked up. Amazing.
Yeah, again, that's a hugely unsung bit of being able to do things here in this randomizer is, especially in this type 1, is that bomb count. Players who play the vanilla game and do the any percent run, being able to keep a count in there is huge, especially in the aforementioned room of requirement in 5. But that's one thing to definitely remember. If you've never played a randomizer for the first time, you're trying to get into it, a bomb count, it's fairly simple to explain what it actually is. It's just literally killing consecutive enemies in a row without getting hit. If you kill 9 consecutive enemies, if you kill the 10th enemy with a bomb, it will drop a bomb. If the 10th enemy you kill does not drop anything, it will store the bomb. The game will store the bomb drop, and the next enemy you kill that can drop something will drop that bomb, assuming you don't get hit in between. If you don't kill him with a bomb and kill him with anything else, it'll be a 5 rupee drop instead.
Speaking of bombs, right before what we call the transition screen, because it transitions you up to the top of Death Mountain, there is actually a bomb shop, which is great to have on Death Mountain because of the fact that it is so bomb heavy. So that's really going to help our runners with having extra bombs for the Death Mountain area.
And Rick did get lucky on that bomb placement, and he's going to go ahead and find level 7. With only about 3 minutes left here, Rick's just going to be like, nope, I know where this is. I'm not going to bother right now. I want to finish with this exploration here in Death Mountain. And one thing of note here in Death Mountain, in a 3-screen span, you have 7, 5, and 1 all right next to each other. So that's going to be one of those where once you have all the information, once you have all the routing, especially if there's good stuff here in these dungeons, they're all boom, boom, boom right here.
Yeah, and actually, the start of it, which I believe is level 5, which is above the Armo screens, actually is not too far away from where level 6 is too. So they should be able to clear out all 4 within maybe a 10-minute period.
Yeah, from what I have, level 6 is in the upper east grave spot. Level 5 is going to be the first screen that you see a little bit of dead trees on there in the Death Mountain. Level 1 has all the dead trees in Death Mountain. And level 7 is the Death Mountain Armo statue screen. And I believe there's also an Any Road somewhere up in that same area as well. And unfortunately for JSR, the mixed overworld coming into play, eating 6 bombs as he tries unsuccessfully to go ahead and bomb there. And Rick is going to have reset over here. So we do have our first reset from Rick at right around the 43:20 mark. So he's already had his first reset, and he's going to go ahead and continue on his exploration.
Dawn of the second day.
Hey, listen.
You know, that at least you didn't like go all creepy Skull Kid or anything on me, so.
I thought about it for a minute, and then I realized that, you know, this is Groundhog Day, not April Fool's Day, and that would just be cruel and unusual punishment. So Rick doing exactly what you would think he would do is immediately heading up to the Armo spot and grabbing the wand. Now, the good thing about picking up the wand here is that he doesn't have to necessarily route in a sword pickup right now, because the wand will allow him to do a good portion of the exploration he needs to do without having to worry about picking up a sword.
Yeah, it's actually a lot closer to start too, so that's another big benefit. Also, you will notice on our tracker that we do have basically a number followed by a time. That is the number of the resets, so we can sort of track exactly when they'll have to reset again, we do have our second reset here with Rue Slugs and JSR as well.
The big thing about that is JSR found the ladder just in time before he have to reset, and Javeth is going to be coming up here on his reset too.
And most of our runners will have to reset. There was a notification in the IRC to do so, so we will hopefully see JVF make his soon.
Yeah, there it is. And I know it's one of those things where, you know, you get yourself so focused on something, sometimes you just forget to do it. Not a big deal. This is not, there's no big prizes on the line, so it's all casual, it's all in good fun. So if it happens to be 30 seconds after, no one's going to make a huge deal about it.
No, especially since, like in that instance, we know that there wasn't a ton of information, actually maybe no information on JVF's side in the few seconds after, so. JSR opting to get his dog bone, as it is, on his side instead of going to pick up the wand first, so he is just looking at maybe getting towards exploring areas that he has not yet touched, while Rick is going to opt for level 1 to find out what he can find in there.
The unfortunate part for Rick is without a key, he can only get the Triforce. I mean, the good thing is unlike when JSR was in here, the wand is going to deal 2 points of damage to these blue dark nuts, and Rick going to go ahead and pick up his first Triforce. So he's going to have the Triforce for level 1. I mean, it's there. It's something, I guess.
So Rue taking an unfortunate death. Deaths are something that you really want to avoid as much as possible, obviously for you know, the standard reasons, but being on a time limit, losing all that distance across the overworld and having to retract your way back over is even more costly at this point, just because there may be those few extra seconds that you are losing that you may have been able to discover one other thing.
Yeah, so Rick going to go in here to level 5, and again, having a little bit of a key problem, but here at level 5, unlike at level 1, he can do a little trick here. Usually we refer to this as the pirouette. You see it in the vanilla game in the vanilla level 1, but here you enter exit on the screen. The game thinks that you're doing it from the dungeon, so it unlocks the door for you. And speaking of that, we have a key here for Rick. He's going to go ahead and restart and do the exact same pirouette for the other side, or just do it this way, and keep his key, because until he goes back to 6 and gets the any key, keys are going to be precious resources. What else is a precious resource is that compass, so he knows, oh hey, this room has the Triforce, I don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, and something else that's going to be interesting to look at as we progress through this is what our runners value, because you see Rick immediately went for the wand, where JSR and JVeth went for the sword. Rue went for the wand as well, but JVeth immediately went back to level 3 to get his red candle to help with exploration, where we see JSR returning to level 2 to hopefully be able to get this recorder so he can find out where the remaining levels that he doesn't know where they are can be found. And Rick is trying to just find out as much information as these levels as possible.
Yeah, no, it is interesting to take a look at both what JSR and Rick are doing, because as I mentioned at the start, this is the 4th iteration of this that we've done. JSR and Rick are 2 of our 3 previous champions. And also, JSR picking up a clock here in this Pole's Voice room. If you're going to get a clock in a room, Pole's Voice and Blue Wizards are the ones you want. And we have got a map for level 2, it's kind of flat. But more importantly, we have got a bait block potential here in 2. It's going to depend on what happens in this room to the side here, but we have found, oh, we've got a ladder block, so we either need to get the ladder to progress through 2, or we are going to have a bait block here in 2. That is interesting. And oh, JSR getting a little bit trolled there with the gels ending up on the wrong side here, but he's going to go ahead and clip in to see what's in here, and no drop, so he is unfortunately going to be blocked out of this level 2. Rick is making his way back into level 6, where he knows where the any key is, and it is a very quick any key to pick up here, so he's going to be making a beeline for that. Javeth is over here in level 3, trying to figure out what his next move is, and I don't blame him. I'd be sitting there scratching my head being like, what am I going to do here? Rue is murdering Tektites with his wand. Never a bad thing, murdering Tektites, especially, you know, when you're in the, you know, shuffled HP and they teleport and, you know, no big deal. JSR is immediately going to find some of the Take Any caves because he wants to get that ladder as soon as he can to continue his exploration of level 2. I really, really much love this play from JSR, prioritizing the recorder so he has access to every dungeon. Rick gonna go ahead and this is a fairly easy room for the any key to be in, especially with the wand. Everything's gonna go down to either 1 or 2 hits, and everything but the Dark Nut is gonna go down to the wand beams. So Rick gonna go ahead and pick up his any key. So now he can go back and finish his exploration of level 1 if he wants to. He can go back and finish his exploration of level 5 if he wants to, and he is immediately going to save and continue out of there. And he's, yep, I'm gone. I have what I came here for. JSR picking up his second heart container, which gives him 5, which he don't know if he knows that's the amount he needs for the ladder, but he's going to give himself a 66% chance in his mind. We know that he's absolutely going to go pick up the ladder here because we know it is 5 hearts. Rue making an interesting gambit here. Rue exploring level 7, which is a level we haven't seen a whole lot of here.
No, I mean, as at some point you're going to need to find the information anyway, so it is important to do a little bit of exploration. I guess there is a few other things to note here that may come into play. One is that we do have the possibility for important items to be in 9. So the bow and the silver arrows that we have not found yet, both could possibly be located in there, which may cause a little bit of routing issues if, you know, they spend all their time in all these other dungeons and, you know, end up having to search out 9 on that final day with, you know, maybe 15 minutes left, trying to do level 9 in those 15 minutes. One other thing to note is if all of our runners get to the point where they're using about 45 minutes for their second run through as well, we talked about, you know, that 2-hour 15-minute once a run, or once the timer hits that, any current run can be continued. Runners.
Oh, JSR, sorry to interrupt. JSR was trying to set up for a Kananiki here, but gets fireballed into the Triforce. He's going to have to come back to this to level 2.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. But to finish what I was saying is the timer does not start when they clear their file. It starts when they begin that next file. So if they want, they can sit there and organize all their notes for, you know, 20-30 seconds and start their final run after that 1 hour 30-minute mark.
Yeah, so of note, Rue has found level 7's Triforce location, and it is ladder blocked. They're going to go ahead and pay a bomb to continue exploring through level 7. JSR masterfully manipulating his bomb count there to be able to pick up a bomb off of Zol. And let's see if he can set up the Kananiki here again this time. And oh, he's unable to do it. The spike trap's getting in the way. He still has ways to progress here, but cannot use the Kananiki. Again, it's going to be interesting to see where the recorder ends up, and that is a useless compass here in 2.
Isn't that normally how the compasses seem to be in Randomizer, that you always get them the room after?
Well, you're not wrong. Rick going to go ahead and continue his exploration of level 1 here. And now that he picked up the any key, he's going to get the map here. And oh, hey, was that a red ring I just saw?
I think so. So level 2 actually has 2 really good items, recorder and red ring. And he
Or
may have just grabbed the
boomerang, because again, the boomerang is also shaped like a ball in this one, so it could be either one of them. But Rick is going to be able to go ahead, and he's not only picked up the heart container here in one, but with the any key, he'll be able to finish exploring where JSR could not earlier. And hey, that's a good item, second item of 3 to find in level 1, the white sword.
That is absolutely wonderful because Rick now knows with the route that he looks to be taking in this seed, he can just come and get the white sword. He doesn't even need to stop for the wood sword now.
The only thing he needs to go pick up is the any key out of 6, which was with the wand is super easy to get. And I believe by default, this room that JSR is in 2 is going to have the recorder, because we've explored pretty much all of them. Nope, there's the one other room we haven't there. So the room he was trying to get into and can't do, I forget what block it was, is going to be the one with the recorder. Yep, this one right here.
I think that was the room that he was trying to Kananaki into.
Yep.
So that is going to be great for JSR because now any levels he doesn't know where they're at, well, he's going to be able to find them. Also, the recorder will allow him to search a bunch of additional spots on the overworld.
Yep. Yeah, so we did find out what the third and final item in level 1 is. It's the raft, and JSR immediately going to buy a candle, and now I wouldn't be surprised if we're going to go ahead and see the recorder. Also,
yeah, that would also be why we saw a ball. I forgot that when I made the sprite for JSR, I actually made the boomerangs a ball.
Yeah, I guess I have one other question. Do you think it's on? You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, that's always on anymore. So,
oh, and that.
Oh, maybe it wasn't. Maybe that is an option that does not affect this. I think that's an option that actually doesn't affect the seed. So JSR does not. It doesn't.
Also, look at that level 5 map.
Yeah, none of these maps have really looked great.
So that's all kinds of fun.
But yeah, just are not having much luck finding any spots with this recorder. I'm not sure what slot he's on currently with the recorder.
I'm not either. Although if he's avoiding playing the recorder, why? Why is he avoiding getting brought up in the whirlwind? Unless is it bringing you to unfinished dungeons, or is it bringing you to the unfinished dungeons vanilla location?
It might be unfinished dungeon vanilla location. Let me check really quick.
But Rick did go ahead and pick up his heart container, so he now has the ladder, which he probably gonna need. However, the good thing is he's got the wand, and all of these Gibdos happily dancing away down in the T, so he'll be able to kill them. The Triforce will spawn over there because this is a level 5 T room, so it's going to spawn on the T as opposed to in the bottom corner where it would spawn if it was a level 4 T room.
Okay, yeah, for sure. Whistle to new dungeons is off. I did not notice that when I checked the flags earlier. So, yeah, if they whistle, it will just literally take them to level 1, level 2 in vanilla. And they lose all that access once they collect the Triforces.
Yeah, so of note, we did have a level 7 for Rooslag. It was the Power Bracelet.
So now we found all of our key items except the 2 keyest ones.
Oh no, we found the keyest one. Rick found that one.
Thanks.
I have been good for almost an hour, and you handed me that one on a platter. I'm just saying, I have not made one bad pun in the first full hour of this, and then you delightfully go and hand me that. Oh no, that wasn't the magic boomerang, that was the red ring that we would have found there, because the magic boomerang we just found in 5. So JSR does have the red ring.
Or it may have been just the vanilla boomerang, because remember, those items do not go out of the pool just because you start with them. So he may have found the regular boomerang in 2.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah, that's one other important thing is you can sit there and start with the red ring, the Annie key, the boomerang, the magical boomerang, and they will all still be located in dungeon.
So this is definitely a room that Rick is in here. Having no ladder and no bow and arrows, fighting these poles voice is very, very tricky here in this NSU room. Rick making fairly good work of it by using the double frame tap trick to get both the white sword and the wand to swing at the same time, dealing 4 hit points worth of damage each. So that's definitely nice for him there. But that room, not too fun. However, he's gone too far away from this room, so the Gibdos are back, so he will have to go ahead and kill himself another room full of mummies before he can get his Triforce.
Yeah, it's really interesting that Rick is choosing to get the Triforces. Maybe he is counting on potentially being able to complete this in his second day. We'll definitely have to see. We're just about at 40, or not 40 minutes, but 28-ish minutes for Rick. So that will definitely be something to keep in mind if he keeps searching out Triforces.
Yeah, Javeth down there in the same room, so he's going to discover that this is the Triforce. JSR is up here in 3, killing this room, and we know this room has a key, so it's going to be nice for him to pick that up. Triforce is right next door, so JSR going to be leaving here with a couple of with another key and another Triforce piece here in just a minute.
And Javeth noping out on the blue boomerang. Did get to see where the Triforce was as well. And we're going to have Rick once again check this spot north of the vanilla start. Very annoying because this is one that's not guaranteed to have a bomb wall, and it does have a lot of spots, so it does eat up bombs for no reward here.
Yeah, Jada just looking at this map being like, what did I do to deserve this? And the answer is, well, you hit .enter, buddy. That's what you did.
There's a reason I immediately offered to commentate this.
Oh, there's a reason I immediately offered to commentate it too, but I guarantee it's different than yours. But JSR going to go up here into 4. We know this is the book, and he'll probably pick it up one more time here, just so we can have access to more hints that he hasn't quite seen, and Nope opts to not grab it. So JSR going with what he has instead.
Yeah, it looks like JSR might be on a mission to dive through as many dungeons as possible, just to get through and maybe get into level 9 here, especially if bow or arrows are in there. Now, we still do have 3 items at large in level 8 as well, so we'll have to see what decision he makes.
Well, the decision he makes is to continue making his way through 4, picking up some more explosives, and finding himself a Tringle. We've got Javeth exploring level 7. We do know that the Triforce in 7 is ladder blocked, and Javeth does not have the ladder, so he will not be able to get the Triforce out of 7 here. Rue is down in the lower left corner, both of our screen and in his screen there, going to explore level 5, which we've determined is, well, it's something. And Rick going to go ahead and make his way through 3 and pick up his red candle.
So I think JSR has whiffed on every single whistle toot so far. Has not uncovered any levels. Very unfortunate for him because I know that he is really looking for level 8 right now.
Yeah, and we've explored a good portion of the map here, so I'm beginning to think that that power bracelet that Rue found down in 7 may be blocking level 8.
I mean, there are still a few spots left for JSR. I think he has over towards the grave to check out. The one spot up on Death Mountain, Vanilla, east of where level 9 is, and of course here at Recorder Lake. And the Mirror Overworld, playing a little trick on JSR there, spawning the stairs on the other side.
Yeah, unfortunately here for Javeth, discovering he is locked in this room with this old man Mugger, so he has to give up a bomb if he wants to escape. So he is unfortunately reluctantly going to give up that bomb, and is immediately greeted by 3 Zols and 2 Wizrobes. That is not the type of full house I want.
No, because one was blue and one was red, so that's a busted full house.
Semantics. I mean, an ace of spades and an ace of diamonds are still 2 aces. Oh, unfortunately, the Dongo's trolling Javeth, eating his first bomb and avoiding the smoke on the second, so he is going to, unfortunately, have to leave here and come back when he has more bombs. And JSR opting to retry, not reset, just hit the retry button instead. So he's got all of his bombs, and he'll be able to continue on what he was exploiting. And this is exactly what you were talking about earlier with the save and retry strats.
Yeah, he's using save and retry, and then is using the recorder to get up to vanilla level 5. That way he can go right back to the other ladder location and search that screen as well. So actually a really good use of all the tools that he has right now.
Yeah, just a fantastic use of all of these tools. And let's see what we find here. Unfortunately, I got trolled a little bit there. I thought that was a level by the delay that we saw there, but unfortunately, no.
And it does look like JSR is heading back up towards the top of Death Mountain to probably use the recorder here.
Yep, got a couple more spots to take a look at, and he's also up here by 1, 5, and 7, so it wouldn't surprise me to see him dig into all those.
And we do have Rue going ahead and diving into level 1 again. Probably going to search out the final items in here. We know the rat is in here, but really you don't need the raft for anything. Because of the flags that we have on, you can screen wrap into the coast raft spot, and you can use the recorder to get to vanilla level 4.
Yep, so the raft is just going to sit there and do nothing, but it's more of a peace of mind thing, knowing, okay, this is here, I don't have to worry about it anymore. And Rick going to go ahead and pick up the slightly more useful ladder, because he has his hearts. And JSR diving right into level 7. And Javeth back here now with 6 bombs, going to make a slightly more reasoned assault here on level 7. Rick has come back from into 2, and he is utilizing the any key to try and make his way through here. Now, JSR was the only one of our runners who knew the recorder was in here. None of the rest of our runners do, so that'll be a surprise to Rick and anyone else who makes their way into here. And JSR coming out with 2 back-to-back rooms that could have had hints. He opted to not pick up the book, though, so he is not going to have this bit of information.
Yeah, and it's going to take on a 4-headed Gleeok with 1 heart. Luckily can take 2 hits at this point because of the blue ring, but still a daunting task nonetheless.
Yeah, interesting thing that you see JSR doing here, you see him stabbing off to the right-hand side of the heads, and it doesn't look like he's hitting them, but Gleeok is flashing. Care to explain why that works?
Because hitboxes in this game are actually skewed a little bit, so by standing off to the right, he can actually still hit the hitbox. It's also the reason why if you stand on the half tile, which is where the lines are of the grid, and something like a whiz robe or something shoots beams at you, if you stand off to the right, you actually will not be hit.
Yep, and over on Rick's side, we do confirm that it was Lord Banana himself as the second item in 2. Much easier to see that when it's the actual boomerang and not a lovely little adorable tennis ball. So we are approaching approximately 20 minutes left for Rick on day 2, 25 approximately for the other 3 runners we have on stream. So again, something to keep in mind that we are still slowly making our way to the end of day 2. And Rick does go ahead and find the recorder.
Yeah, should help out with a little bit of exploration, because even if we don't have the whole aspect of going to the actual incomplete dungeons, Recorder is a much better way of navigating around the world than those any roads were. And JSR did take a death in level 7, just like the overworld, definitely a level you don't want to take a death in, just because it is quite a bit of time loss to have to navigate all the way back through.
So, note here, Rick did go ahead and use the recorder to whistle all the way over to Vanilla level 4. It is just a bomb shop, so looking more and more likely that power bracelet is the key to finding level 8.
Yeah, I believe JSR only has 1 recorder spot he has not checked yet. I think the only recorder spot still that needs to be checked is the one that is in between Vanilla level 8 and the coast. And maybe the one that is northeast of Vanilla Start. I think those 2.
Yeah, so always fun here, and this to me is one of those things where this is what makes the Groundhog's Day race so interesting. Because if this was just a regular race, we'd be in level 9 at this point. But because of the nature of how the exploration in this type of race works, we're still on the, hey, we're still missing a level type of deal. And that's a very, very flat level 7. Kind of reminds me of a Brontosaurus.
My first inclination when I saw it was it looks like the FAMAS rifle sprite in Metal Gear Solid.
Okay. I'll go with that.
And Rick is down to 15 minutes left in day 2. All of our runners not too far behind that either, so we're still going to need quite a bit of information before we get out of this. My guess is when we see Rick reset, he's either going to just get himself together, maybe go get a drink or something, and start after that 1:30 mark, or he may do a quick reset, try to get any last little bit of information he can, and then reset one more time to sort of have that same time frame as everyone else and not be, 15 minutes behind resetting at an hour 45 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, so, I mean, JSR continuing his exploration of level 7. Gonna go ahead here and take this staircase, and again, level 7 does contain the power bracelet, which, as far as we understand, it's more than likely statistically going to be what is hiding level 8, because as we've said, JSR has checked most of the remaining recorder spots. And just like the level 6 we had, this is also a functionally segmented level 7, because the corridor staircase is blocking off the way to this little piece of 3 rooms here. So even though it's functionally connected on the map, it is still a segmented level 7.
And we do have Javeth going back into level 2, and then remembering I needed bombs.
And we have 7's item over here, which is in this little segment, and it's a heart container.
Given the amount of heart containers we've seen so far, that is not a statistical anomaly. Could pretty much be expected at that point. It's also becoming a little more likely that Bow and Silvers are well, going to be an 8 and 9. So, definitely important to find the level 8 soon.
I'm pretty sure at this point we've found the items in every other dungeon. So, I mean, we have 5 item spots left. So, statistically, there's a 20% chance of any of the items to be in, any of the 5 remaining spots. So, I mean, I'm not going to get into the statistics of it, but yeah, statistically speaking, at least one of them is going to be an 8.
Also, just going quickly through my mind, which is probably a little inaccurate, outside of the red ring, I believe most of our other items have been bound, so it would actually just be heart containers outside of the red ring, silver arrows, and bow.
Based on what I have here on my notes, yes. And unfortunately, JSR taking a hit to that Wizrobe, and unfortunately, again, you mentioned deaths are very, very unfortunate here, especially when you're trying to get the last pieces of your puzzle in place. Rick going to go ahead and use the raft here and not doing the screen scroll trick. Going to be disappointed, well, slightly, because that is a large secret there. It was 128 rupees, but opts to not pick it up because he is fastly approaching the end of his day, too.
Yeah, he is concentrating only on finding this final dungeon, and given that he doesn't have Power Bracelet, if he does manage to get most of these recorder spots checked, he can at least limit it down to the fact that he will need the Power Bracelet to find the final dungeon. He did check that little screen in between 8 and the coast, and there was nothing there either, so that is another spot checked off. So we are relying on the Power Bracelet checks really to discover where level 8 is.
Yeah, and JSR going to be able to pick it up right here, killing those and getting the Power Bracelet. So that is going to be the piece of the puzzle that he's going to need. We've got 7, if my memory serves me correctly, potential Power Bracelet spots we can check.
Yeah, and we did see a few of the checks from Rue already, but some of the ones that may take a little bit to see, and I would expect JSR to actually check these first, would be ones like the one in typically what we consider B2, which is now on the completely other side of the map, but there is a Power Bracelet spot there, and also the one in Upper Death Mountain up where you find the magical sword in second quest.
And considering he's right up here in Death Mountain, I would expect him to at least check that one pretty much right now. Because if it turns out that that's where level 8 is, this is an absolute treasure trove of stuff here, because you get 5, you got 1, you get 7. 7's got the power bracelet, which is going to more than likely lead us to 8. So yeah, I would imagine that if I'm JSR, I'm beelining to any and all power bracelet checks I can make right now.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to check, well, once he remembers that it's mirrored overworld, he's going to check the any road power bracelet spot first.
I mean,
and unfortunately, this is another one of those that you can't actually screen scroll to get to. You have to go down and around the long way.
Yep, because of the way right-left works. That is not going to be what we're looking for here. So it would be, it would be absolutely amazing if that's where it all was. But of course, this is Zelda, so it's more than likely going to be in the Schadenfreudiest location possible. Most Schadenfreudy location possible. Something like that. JSR still doesn't know where 6 is, does he?
No. He did all the checks to, oh, we do have a recorder spot here.
There
and
it is.
8.
Oh, wow.
8 is right below 6.
8 is below 6. That's crazy. But yeah, JSR still doesn't know where 6 is. He might think he needs that power bracelet for 6.
Yeah, unfortunately, checked most of the gray spots, but did not check the far right one. Really, the rule is you want to push on all the grave spots, and the one that, if you hit one that doesn't generate ghost, but still doesn't push, you'll know that there is not a push block on that screen.
But the good news for JSR now is he doesn't have to dig 7 for that power bracelet. 7 can just go in, grab the Triforce, and get out. There is nothing in 7 that is going to be required.
No, and the other big thing for JSR is he has about 8.5 minutes now to explore 8 and find out if bow and silver arrows are in here. And Rick is down under 2 minutes left in his second day.
And so Rue has went ahead and pushed every block in here for us, so we now know that there is nothing in that spot. Hey, you can screen scroll from there to the waterfall when on Mirrored Overworld. I did not know that!
Yeah, that's one of the other great screen wraps that we have. Really entertaining.
Good news for Rick, he's going to find one of the items in 7. Bad news for Rick, it's the heart container.
And yes, DH, you are correct. He has 7 minutes. My math was really bad there.
No math. And here's one of the first... Oh, silver arrows are in 8. That's huge. So yeah, now at this point, it's... Where is the bow? 50-50 chance of the bow being an 8 or 9. And immediately comes across a second staircase. Is this another item here? No, it is a transport staircase. Now, we don't have a map of level 8, so we don't know if it's segmented or not. If it is, we're going to have more staircases. If not, well, who knows? But again, we still have to kill things in here right now because we don't know what the floor drop item is going to be.
If memory serves me correctly, 7 spanned all the way across all 8 columns. So we are definitely going to have a segmented.
Yo, you're right.
And we are coming up to our reset times, but we do want to announce, just to keep everyone updated on what's going on, we do have our first finish, and that is going to be Theorwolf. So Theorwolf is our Groundhog champion for 2019.
That's impressive. 1 hour, 23 minutes, and 37 seconds. That's impressive. With the, not that the level of troll in this seed was like super ridiculous. It was just, it's the mirrored overworld that makes everything crazy. And there's the Triforce in 8 for JSR, so that's something else that he now has. So we are literally the bow away from knowing where everything is we're going to need.
the fact that JSR could do that reverse clip so quickly with custom sprite is amazing.
JSR is good at this game. And we have another... Oh, well, the floor item is a heart container, so here we go. Okay, so the bow is in 9. We know for a fact the bow is in 9.
Well, 2 hearts in the same room. How about that? So JSR is going to go ahead and pick up the Triforce here in level 8. We'll see if he goes back north to see if he can find level 6. Otherwise, he may be searching a little bit if he's still under the belief that level 6 is not up there.
Well, from the looks of it, he is not heading up there, so yeah, he still doesn't know where 6 is hiding. So yeah, this is very, very interesting here for JSR. He has every piece of the puzzle he needs, except the fact that he's already skipped over level 6's actual location.
Yeah, Rue and JSR are both in the same boat there. We know that they both checked that screen, just did not push the far right block there. So we'll see exactly how long it takes them, or if they eventually even go back to that screen. Definitely can be a little disheartening if you think that you checked it in, you just didn't check the right spot.
We've all done that. We've all mismarked our maps, so... I mean, I know I've done it. I'm pretty sure you've done it. I mean, it's something that happens. If you're playing a randomizer, you will mismark something at some point. Alright, so as we are approaching ourselves into the imminence that is day 3 of the Groundhog Day. As I said, we have all the pieces of information. And there is the blue dog bone over on JSR's side. Good information for him to have here, as we are approaching the reset point from day 2 into day 3. Normally, I am not a fan of doing large, long lists of item recaps, because they can clog up everything. But this is one of those few exceptions where knowing where key items are that will help in the seed is definitely relevant. So as we approach this reset point to day 3, which Rick is almost on, the big items that we're going to need: the recorder out of level 2 is going to be required to get into level 8, which is recorder blocked. The ladder is the white sword item, which is required to at least get the Triforce out of level 7. And it's also required to mitigate a bait block in level 2. Aside from that, we know that the silver arrows are in level 8. By process of elimination, the bow is in level 9, so that's going to be a fun one to search. And if you don't go ahead and pick up a sword on the overworld, the white sword is handily sitting in level 1.
Yeah, my route, if I were to be doing this, would be to make an immediate play up to Death Mountain, because there is such a high concentration of really good items up there, with the silvers in 8, the any key in 6, the white sword in 1, and let's not forget that some of these locations actually have a really nice accessible Triforce. The only thing I would do is I would leave level 6's Triforce open, so I can easily get back there once I get the ladder for level 7.
Yep, and Rick did go ahead and do his final, not necessarily final reset, but his next reset. If this was me right now, if we're talking about routing Crim, I would go ahead and I would do what Rick did at the beginning of his second seed. I would beeline for the wand, and immediately with that wand, go pick up the any key out of 6. From there, I would up A back to start and route in 2 heart containers to go get the ladder. I would then go get level 2, get the recorder out of 2, get the Triforce out of 2. Then I would whistle to 6. It's vanilla location, and that puts me in the range of 5 dungeons. 1, 5, 7, 6, and 8. Once I got the Any Key, I would go to 1, get the white sword out of 1, get the Triforce out of 1, and then just get the Triforce out of 5, Triforce out of 7, go and get the silvers and Triforce out of 8, get the Triforce out of 6, and then you only have 3 and 4 to worry about. That's how I would route this.
Also, another interesting thing to note, outside of level 9, the candle's actually not required.
Yeah, and you can get that quickly out of level 3.
Absolutely. So, while it's great for the early routing, 3 is not a necessarily early dungeon that is...
No, absolutely not. And Rick immediately doing what I said I would do here, get the 2 early heart containers. Looks like he's running the ladder in first before everything else, and Rue's going to go ahead and get his reset. JSR coming up on his reset here in just a minute as well.
Yeah, you saw Rue take a little bit of a pause there. What he is doing is he's actually just waiting for that 1 hour, 30 minute, and 1 second mark to where he doesn't have to worry. They do not have to reset anymore because after 2 hours, 15 minutes, the playthrough that you're currently on can be finished. They do not have to go through, their 4th Groundhog Day.
So Rick went ahead and reset again, and that's going to put him in the same spot that you just mentioned Rue is going to be in, so he no longer has to reset either. So all of our runners now are going to be on the same boat where they do not have to reset. They can just go ahead and completely finish off this playthrough. JSR making his way over here to immediately go ahead and pick up his sword. Unfortunately, the P-Hat's not agreeing with him. So, yeah, that is a potion shop, JSR, not the sword. So you're going to have to go down 1 here. And it looks like Rick is changing up plans initially from where he just was. He is beelining over to Death Mountain. So he's going Wand 6 again, like we talked about.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the same route that he took last time. And I expected him to do the same this time around just because it makes so much sense. He may even be making a play to, oh, he's going to try for some bombs first, but he may make a play into 1 first for that white sword.
All right, so I find this very interesting that we have the 2 split routes, JSR and JVeth both prioritizing the wood sword, whereas Rick is prioritizing the wand. And looks like he is not entirely sure where he's going here, unless he's trying to find bombs.
Yeah, he's looking for bombs right now. Rue is doing the same thing as Rick. So, there's 2 distinct routes, JSR and JVeth on one, Rue and Rick on the other. So, the J's versus the R's.
So, if Rick and Rue end up beating JSR and JVeth, does that mean JSR and JVeth got Rick Rude?
Just because you went an hour doesn't mean you can start now.
I went an hour and a half.
No, you gave us a pun earlier, too.
Because you set it up on a platter and it was too easy to not take.
So it looks like JSR is coming in for his candle early on here. Very easy dungeon to complete as well. So he may be taking a 3-2 route here.
Yeah, he's routing this in because I believe in the actual spot where it is in vanilla, there is a take anyone you want cave, so he's just going to route in the red candle to pick that up on his...
I do also have to say, this is amazing. Just the fact that while they are playing through this, they are going through their mind and creating a route on the fly. Like, this isn't a, oh, we have a week to plan for this or anything. They are making their routes on the fly. Okay, this is what I need to prioritize. This is where I need to go first. And that is a lot of information to process while you're also still trying to find information.
Yeah, that's absolutely crazy. And Rue is going to go ahead and he's got 5 hearts now, so that means he has access to the ladder.
Yeah, it looks like Rick ended up giving up on his bomb tries up in Death Mountain. He is at 8 now, but he is choosing to make his way over towards Mirrored West Hyrule, where we will find level 3 and level 2. So my guess is he may be prioritizing getting up to level 2 and up towards the ladder.
Yeah, again, keep in mind, of our 4 runners we have on screen, JSR is the only one who knows where level 8 is. None of the rest of them do. JSR is also the first runner of our 4 on screen here to pick up a Triforce on their 3rd day of attempts. So Rick now has 4 of the 5 hearts he is going to need to pick up the ladder, and Rue immediately putting the ladder to good use, going to make his way into level 2 to pick up that, well, I mean, it is Rue, so do we call it a Rue quarter?
Well, he just got Y-Forced, and yes, DG, as you mentioned it, Rue is the one who the recorder is named after.
I mean, that one isn't even a pun, that's just a thing.
So JSR also coming down to the coast here to quickly clear out level 4. This is really just a blitz because of the fact that, well, he can come in here and just get the Triforce. Now, one unfortunate thing is there is the possibility he could pick up the book and come across a hint in one of the levels, maybe on his way to a Triforce, that would tell him, you know, level that Goma creeps in the grave. Or at the grave, and that would tell him, okay, I need to recheck all those areas near vanilla level 6.
Yeah, I mean, I know that when helpful hints are on, I definitely want to do that, and yeah, it looks like he's absolutely picking up the book here. Yeah, 100%. Making the out-of-the-way, quote-unquote, out-of-the-way trip just to get that information. I like that call. Rick getting trapped there by the bait block. So he is going to have to also take the long way around using the ladder. JSR continuing his exploration of 4. Rue going to go ahead and save here, so he now has a retry point if he wants to save and retry for some exploration. Javeth with the wand and the sword. So technically Javeth does have the superior weaponry here, and JSR going to pick up the heart container and Kananaki his way into the Triforce room in level 4.
Yeah, considering he's done it twice already, he pretty much expected to have to do it the 3rd time, so very good job there of him to get through it very easily, and I expect to see him make his way up towards the ladder in level 2.
Alright, so JSR going to go ahead and pass up the ladder heart because we only have 4 right now, so we can't actually pick up the ladder. And Rue immediately going into level 8 here. Level 8 with only 5 hearts. Normally you're like, why would I do this? But again, it's randomizer, so meh.
Yeah, well, I mean, this isn't horrible because this is one of the few levels that Rue does not really have much information on. So trying to figure out the information, knowing that Bone and Silvers are still at large for him, definitely a good level to search out, especially if Bone and Silvers are in here, then you have a great combat weapon as well.
Yes, but unfortunately, we know Silvers are in there, unfortunately no Bow. So it looks like we are going to have to bust open that key to continue our progression in level 8. We know we can go down and find a staircase here. JSR picking up his ladder, and if his next destination isn't level 2, I'll be surprised.
Right, and Rick. Interesting enough, just retried for 4 times though. On his timer, he must have actually gone on his 3rd attempt before the 1 hour 30-minute mark. But he did find level 8, so he is our first runner on stream to have information of all 8 levels.
Yeah, absolutely, and I like what I definitely like what he did there. Now that he has all the information in the playing field, wouldn't surprise me if he does the same thing he just did with the 3 to 2 with the ladder recorder, and then instead of going into 8 immediately, going to 6 to get the any key first.
Oh, for sure. He is going to grab his wand first, though, because he values that a lot more than his sword. None of our runners have actually come across many Wizrobe rooms that have been required. I think really the only one we saw is one of the Wizrobe rooms had the Triforce in one of the levels. I forget which one. But knowing that he could clear them out with maybe bombs or something like that, using the wand early on is definitely a really good call.
Yeah, JSR unfortunately getting Y-Force for a second time in that room in level 2. And yeah, I believe it was the latter room in 7 that had the Wizrobes for blocking the... So yeah, Rick immediately picking up the wand, and then it'll be fun to see where he goes from here. Looks like he is going to be routing in that... across to 3 and 2 setup to pick up the ladder and the recorder, so that way he can just go ahead and do 4 really quickly as well, and then just blitzkrieg through 1, 5, 7, 6, and 8.
Rick in really nice luck with the bombs, and Rue finding the silver, so one of the final key pieces for Rue is found, so we'll have to continue on to know that, well, so Bo is definitely in level 9, but remember, there's one other thing for him and JSR, that even if they find all this information, they won't be able to actually deduce that Bo is in 9 until they find level 6.
Right, I do also find it funny that the heart containers were in the same room here in level 8.
It's always convenient.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I'm never complaining about that. However, always the fun part about that is when your Triforce is in a staircase room like that, and you have the compass, and you avoid that room like the plague in the dungeon. Goes, oh, it's the Triforce room. I don't need it. Oh, that's where my item is.
Although, I gotta say, it's like 2 weeks early.
2 weeks early?
It has 2 heart containers and it's pink.
Are you foreshadowing another Valentine's race?
No, I'm not doing. Well, I don't know. Maybe there will be a community Valentine's race.
For those who
why not?
Know,
Let's organize one.
Yeah, for those who don't know, the community Valentine's race is some number of randomizations are happening, but the big thing is you need all of the red items because it's Valentine's Day. That means all 16 hearts. That means you have to finish with a red potion. You need the red ring, you need the book, you need the power bracelet, every red item. Oh yeah, the magical sword's red too, isn't it?
Yeah, maybe next year I'll work with Fred to actually replacing all the gorillas in this with groundhogs.
Is Punxsutawney Phil gonna sign off on that?
I don't know, I'll take the 2-hour trip to ask him.
You speak Groundhog?
No, but still. If he sees a shadow, it's a yes. JSR heading back into level 8 as well. I'm going to go ahead and grab the silvers. It's actually a really quick level once you find out where the heart containers are, because you don't really need to do much. But so we will see him go ahead and do it. And Javeth picking up his book here, which is going to be huge for him because that's going to allow him to get the little final pieces of information he may need if he comes across them.
Yeah, so JSR, unfortunately, getting the information from the book, unfortunately, getting the information about levels 1 and 2, which is not information he needs. Rue now knows that he does not need anything else out of this level 8, so I'm not sure why we're continuing through here, unless he's just taking an alternate path to get to the Triforce. Yep, realizing, wait a second, I don't need this anymore. And Rick is in 6, and Rick is, in fact, picking up the ultimate key, so he is no longer going to have to worry about any of that. And Rue's like, wait, what am I doing? I have to go down and around and 99 bottles of potion on the wall or something like that.
And I love this play from Rick. Rick opts to just leave level 6 without the Triforce, so with the recorder, he can whistle back to that level 6 location and get what he needs out of here quickly.
That's
I love that play.
Beautiful, beautiful play there. Yeah, so JSR does have the silver, so he's going to go ahead and be able to pick up his Triforce here out of level 8. And again, the big thing in here is that he does not know where level 6 is. That's going to be potentially beneficial for him because it means he'll be able to whistle back over here with the recorder once he eventually finds the hint that it's in the grave, assuming it hasn't been eaten by a mugger or a bomb shop.
It's awesome just watching runners go through these levels after they've searched them once or twice and just, know exactly where to go. It's almost like watching a vanilla speedrun of a completely randomized race.
Oh, it really is. It's beautiful. It's you mentioned the Router's Relish Battle Royal. That was one of my favorite Battle Royals to watch, simply because throughout the week you could follow the runners who were in the Battle Royal and watch their planning and progress as they played through the seed for the first time or the second time and got their routing done. And then to watch what they came up with when it came time for the race was just, it was a thing of beauty.
So JSR has now completed half of his Triforce, still not making his way back up to where 6 is, so it may be a little bit longer until he is able to find that level. Rick now has the Triforces out of 1 and 2, as well as a lot of the items he needs. Has the recorder, has the ladder, and is going to make quick work with 7 and 5 here soon.
Yeah, because Rick knows he only needs the Triforce out of 5 and the Triforce out of 7. He knows he doesn't need anything, and there's the compass just to confirm what he already knew about where the map is. Speaking of that, one thing to point out here when it comes to this level of routing is this is one of those things where you definitely want to have a tracker. Now, if you track by paper and pen, that's fine. If you utilize the Z Helper function, that's fine. The big thing with Z Helper is the fact that it does have a custom create your own map feature as you're tracking. So this is the style of seed where you definitely want to put that custom map feature to good use. The other good thing about this Triforce Room in 5 is it's all Gibdo, so statistically, there's a good chance we're going to find some bombs here.
And there are some bombs and a Triforce. Rick making a good decision there, relying on the boomerang to get the bomb so he doesn't panic trying to ladder clip. Ladder clips, while they're not too difficult once you're used to them, when you're in a panic state, trying to rush it a little bit, can be something to the point where you just don't get the clip in time and then he could have possibly lost the bomb. So a really good job there by Rick, using the boomerang to pick up the bombs first.
Always a fan of seeing people utilize Lord Banana for that. And JSR are going to go ahead and pick up the the compass to get the Triforce location. But there is the blue dog bone again, so he now has the white sword. Rue is over in level 5. Rue doesn't necessarily have all of the information that he's going to need to continue here, so he is going to have to do some exploration. JSR does not know that the raft is in here yet, so he actually does need to continue exploring here a little bit just to get that information. And once he gets the raft bit of information, he'll know that there is a 66.67% chance that the bow is in 9, and a 33% chance it's the second item in 6.
So yeah, we have Rick just blitzing through level 7 here. Just really only going for the Triforce, nothing else really necessary out of here. And then given his state, I think Rick's next play will probably be to maybe warp over to Vanilla level 8 and complete 3 and 4 before coming back up to 6 and 8.
Oh, but Rick gets sandwiched between a couple of Wizrobe beams and unfortunately takes an unfortunate death there. JSR going to go ahead and pick up the raft as Rue's going to pick up the recorder for what is, the map for level 5, for which is quite obviously a mounted turret of some sort. So JSR now going to have to avoid the flames that his wand and the book are going to spit out together, but does that fairly convincingly, goes ahead and takes out those blue dark nuts and is able to get the Triforce out of level 1. And he's right next to all the other levels he needs. Again, the problem is he doesn't know where 6 is. But the good thing for JSR is he can just go in here and absolutely blitzkrieg everything in 5 and 7. There's nothing he needs out of either of these levels.
No, I'm thinking right now, TG, does Rick actually know the location of 4? Because we know he hasn't picked up book at all, and I don't recall if he's actually been in level 4 at all.
You make a valid point. I don't know either.
So Javeth is exiting out of 2 right now. I believe he is currently at 5 hearts. He does have very dark hearts on, but it does look like 5, so he is able to go over and grab his ladder right now if he needs.
Yes, it is 5 hearts from what I'm seeing. Yeah, Rick definitely looks like he's heading over towards 3, which will at least get him 6 hearts because there is the coast heart right there as well.
Interesting that he's taking this path and not just using his recorder to get to wherever he needs. The fact that he does still have 8 open would make me think he would want to take that route, but he may not be thinking about that right now either. He may just be like, okay, I need to get over there.
So, we have some new information that I didn't think we'd be getting here in the 3rd day. The bomb upgrader's 3. JSR just picked it up in 5.
Hey, you know what? If you have the money and you know for a fact there's no other use for it, why not?
I mean, you're not incorrect there at all. I'm not entirely sure where Rick is going right now. But that is definitely a Guerrilla on a mission. Oh, he's just taking the long way around. That is a Guerrilla on a mission, though.
Yeah. Now he's going up towards where level 2 is?
I'm confused.
Maybe he... Oh! Rick actually never got his recorder.
Right, he reset, so he didn't have the recorder and the Triforce out of 2. That's right.
We forgot about that final reset that he had there. So that would do it. That would be why he also did not record her over this one.
Right, but with the Any key, he can easily just pop in, pop out, and do what he needs to do.
And one of our wonderful trackers narrators are saying that Rick does have 4 marked, so he does know where it is. So Rick does know all the dungeon locations. Javeth getting some of the information that we already know, like Dodongo dwells with the recorder.
And there is the Triforce out of 2 for Rick, and JSR are going to go ahead and kill a lot of these Gibdos here. The fire here is actually going to help him a little bit. with them all clustered on this T-spot, so he'll actually be able to get a little more damage out of this here, so it will help him kill things slightly faster. And oh, unfortunately, X is out before he can get any of the bombs, although he does have 10, so it wasn't a huge deal.
Yeah, it's really only losing one bomb there, so not a huge deal at all.
Oh, there's a huge hint for Javeth. Play a melody to obtain the silver arrow. So he now knows that the recorder is required to get the silvers. And there's Dig Dogger Gazer with the magic boomerang. So of the hints that we found, the best hint there was play a melody to obtain the silver arrows.
Yeah, and that's going to limit his searching, because 8 is, I believe, the only dungeon that Javeth has not.
Right, and Rue, unfortunately, not using the boomerang to its full advantage, trying to sneak over to the side to pick up the bombs, but instead gets the Triforce instead. JSR now here in 7, and I believe he knows he has nothing he needs to pick up in here, so he can just blitz the Triforce. Which is what you see Rick doing over here is blitzing the Triforce out of 3. He is going to have to pick up a fire source at some point. I'm not sure if it's going to be the red candle in here, if he's just going to buy a candle or pick up one. Or if he has picked one up and I just didn't notice it.
I don't think he picked one up, but he may just route a gift shop into it too.
Yep. I got really excited because I saw an at the grave hint, but that's the level 8 hint that JSR found in level 7.
Also, we did have another finisher. Captain Green did finish in 3rd place, 155. I would expect to see a bunch of finishes come in relatively soon here as we enter about the 25-minute mark of day 3.
Yeah, interesting question here. And I forgot what I was going to say now for some... So forgive me. I had an interesting question primed, and then it just sort of slipped away. Mostly like my skills playing Zelda, because I never do it anymore.
So, Javeth currently dealing with the unfortunate side effect of the book, and that is the fire on the wand. So, I mean, for what information he knew, definitely picking up the book was a good decision, especially with that hint for silvers. So, not really out of the realm of surprise that he picked it up, but it is going to hinder his wand. Rick is in level 4. He is searching for the item in here, so he will find the book. I'm not sure whether he'll pick it up or not, but definitely we'll see it as JSR grabs the Triforce off 7. He is only missing level 6's Triforce now.
Yeah, but that's the problem. He's also missing level 6. So it's interesting that he didn't pick up the power bracelet out of 7 when he's still missing 6.
Oh, he did pick up the power bracelet out of 7. We just missed that.
He did, okay.
So, it'll be interesting in the spots that he has left to check. I know he has some power bracelet spots left, but it'll be very interesting to see how long it takes him to get back to the grave area.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be very, very interesting, because once he checks all these power bracelet spots, he's going to have one of those scratching your heads, what the heck did I miss mark moments. However, this might be one of those, this right here, this screen might give him some insight, because as you notice, he went to leave after pushing the one he thought it was, and then went back and pushed all the others. I'm not sure if that will trigger something in his mind or not, but that is something that he did just recognize that.
Yeah, the problem is when he initially pushed all those gravestones, that was nearly an hour and 40 minutes ago now. So trying to remember that you didn't push the far right one this much later could take quite a while.
True, but the one thing to keep in mind now is once you've checked everything and you're racking your brain, what did I do, what didn't I do, is to have that thought in the back of your head of, let me push everything a second time just to be safe.
And Rick does opt to pick up the book.
It's something that merits consideration, and I don't disagree with Rick here picking up the book. He still doesn't know Bow and Silver's information.
And there, Rue finds level 4. I don't believe he found it before, considering how many bombs he just spent on that screen, but did find it, so he will be able to navigate his way through and find the book as well.
And so JSR is making his way back over to the other sides, or the eastern, what was western side of Hyrule, so that is at least good news. He's heading in the correct direction. Rick continuing his quest through level 4. Going to go ahead and pick this up. He has the any key, so he doesn't have to worry about doing a Kanana key. JSR goes ahead and finds the bomb shop, and he's stopping because he's like, wait, what did I miss?
Yeah, he is at full exploration. Checked every single thing, so we'll see if he heads back up to the grave immediately, or if he makes a play somewhere else.
Looks like he's going to check what would be the two far southwestern squares over here. So nothing there. Rue going to also go ahead and pick up the book again. Definitely, you're okay with that because you don't have the information. I do find it interesting that we have both Rick and JSR in the Lost Woods, and the mirrored Lost Woods is great because it's you get yourself all turned around. It's great. I love it.
Well, not only that, but Mirror Lost Woods is a required walkthrough. You cannot screen wrap past the puzzle.
Yeah, so that little pause there by JSR was the "what did I miss" pause.
Well, hopefully he starts rechecking in his general area, because his general area is actually where 6 is located.
Yeah, Rick over there on the right-hand side is struggling with this reverse clip here. At this point, you might just kill the last keys or be stubborn about it and do it there. JSR, unfortunately, hitting the retry button. That's interesting.
Well, he did save right before he checked that final recorder spot, so that actually is not detrimental. It actually brings back some of the bombs that he spent in the southeast there. But he is going to start checking some of these locations again around here close to then I'll start. Unfortunately, he's going to head west instead of back up towards the grave.
Yeah, I think he's just double checking everything that he's marked with the easier setup here with the red candle and all that.
And a lot of the way people track it, this can be one of those frustrating things, because a lot of times as you go through, you just tend to mark everything you don't need as X's, so it doesn't really tell you what was there to sort of recollect anything. So he may just be like, okay, which one of these X's did I mismark, rather than, wait, I don't remember a bomb shop being there or something like that.
Yeah, just going through and
if you look at it, Rue is in the same situation.
Yeah, Rue is in the same situation. You know, again, not to make light of it, because we've all been here. I know I've done it several times, and you're sitting and you just get frustrated and frustrated and frustrated. And you're just like, what do I have to do? What did I miss mark? And this is one of those things where it's happened to the best of us. I mean, it's happened to everybody. Rick gonna go ahead and pick up his silver arrows over there. And when I say it's happened to everybody, I mean, you can go back to one of the tournaments that we had, and there have been runners who've lost races several times because they've mismarked maps and was just accidental. I mean, you think you click on something and you don't. I mean, I know I've called races that way. I'm pretty sure you've called races where that's happened. Don't think that this is just, wow, that's a fun little cave spot right there. Don't think this is just something that could happen. No, that happens. It happens to high quality runners. JSR and Rue, high quality players. They do it. I've done it. Crim's done it. We've all done it. So don't let something like this, if you're looking to try and get into playing the randomizer, whether it's in a race format or just because, don't get discouraged because you see some top tier players doing it. We all have done it.
I actually, on my map, I use a handwritten map, and I actually just normally do a dash through areas that I've checked. And there was actually one point where I marked level 4, and then I smudged my hand over it, and it turned level 4 into a dash, and it took me forever to remember where level 4 was. So, yeah, it's definitely a frustrating aspect, and something that you might rack your mind over for a very, very long time, and spend a lot of time rechecking every single part of the overworld. Double full clear is never fun. So Rick is currently still looking through level 8 to find what we know as the double heart room, and that will tell him for certainty that Bo is in level 9. He has all the other information, just needs to clear all 8 and 6 here.
Yeah, but I agree that holding off on the last time for 6 is great. And JSR using his last bomb to open up the bomb shop to be able to refill, always a fun thing to see.
Rue doing the same, refilling some bombs here.
And Rick has found the double heart room, so...
I mean, Rue is the closer of the two to where level 6 is, but unfortunately is heading in the wrong direction as well. And I'm not sure if you could see a TG, but I swear when JSR just paused this game, I saw his little Z frown a little bit.
I mean, I don't even have the sprite in my little Z's frowning a little bit.
And there, Rick is heading into level 6 to collect his final Triforce before heading on to level 9.
Yep, and just to review, level 9 would be in what is normally the spot to the southeast of Vanilla level 4. So Rick making his way here through this level 6. I don't remember exactly where the Triforce is in this 6. I just remember this 6 was a monstrosity.
Oh, for sure. Also, TGE. I don't know if you kind of realize this, but we swapped the bow for the silver arrows for the items in 9. Because the red ring is the other item in there.
Sometimes, you know, the strangest things happen. JSR with the frustrating... There's the frustration. Like, what am I forgetting? Now, this is just me, but I'm pretty sure Bone versus Solid Rock Wall... Solid Rock Wall wins. Javeth going to be able to go ahead, and Javeth has found his silver arrows in level 8.
Yeah, so all of our runners have the silver arrows. Rick is soon going to have all of his Triforce. JSR and Rue still looking for that final puzzle piece that will answer all their skull-bashing questions.
Well, I've checked.
Never was a fan of the Pokemon move Skull Bash. Took 2 turns. I have patience problems.
This might be a guy.
And apparently JSR did unmute his mic just to give his frustration that he has done everything he could think of. So hopefully we'll be able to realize the grave once he rechecks there.
Yeah, I mean, I know what I would be saying. And oh, hey, look, there's the hint for level 9. By a lake is an entrance to death. Good news for JSR, he's back in the graveyard.
Yeah, and that's what he definitely needs. So, gonna head up, probably gonna check all these spots again.
And here we are. He's in the right spot. He is in the right spot. He found it. JSR has found level 6, and I bet he is just... I'm pretty sure we're going to hear lots of forehead on desk.
Yeah, absolutely. And now JSR is a little bit behind Rick, because Rick already has all the information he needs about level 6. But JSR just needs to find out that the bow is not in here. He may or may not care about keys depending on where he is. But him and Rick are going to be very, very close in this. And we do also have our 4th place finisher, Jake Coper, with a time of 2 hours, 11 minutes, and 20 seconds.
Yeah, and as we mentioned, we are at the point where the reset clause is no longer applicable because we have reached the 2 hour 15 minute mark. So all of our runners here are just going to be able to finish the seat that they're on.
Javeth taking an unfortunate death while Rick picks up his final Triforce. He will be able to go in and hunt down the bow and the pig, and then, or, well, has to find the girl first to kill the beast, and then we'll find the pig. And we do also have our 5th place finisher, Saber, right behind Jake Cooper, 2 hours, 11 minutes, 56 seconds.
So did Saber do this blindfolded?
I think only the 3rd day.
I mean, that's plenty of time to row what he needs.
So Rick, yeah, just routed in a candle purchase. Very good routing there from Rick to just grab the candle along the way to get into level 9.
Yeah, absolutely. And JSR with the 6 map, and pretty sure his reaction is the same as ours when we first saw it. What the bleepity bleep bleep bleepity bleep 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 is that?
Really, my thought if I was JSR would be, something this big, how could I not find it?
Over on Rick's side, as I bite my tongue about anything I could possibly say there, because this is a family stream, we have a level 9, and we have 2 potential options we can go for level 9, right and up. Rick opting to take the go right option, which is something you see a lot of runners do, especially because it allows you to at least eliminate a full column or 2 when it comes to trying to find where the beast is located.
Absolutely, but a lot of blocks so far in 9, not a lot of progression able to be made. Now, one thing with shapes in level 9, it's not so much how many rooms are accessible, because 9 is always going to be big. What it is with level 9 is finding out where the holes are in the map that you won't be able to progress through. Sometimes they can be kind of annoying.
Yeah, good thing for JSR is he does go ahead and pick up the any key, which will help him out. He still is looking around for the second item in here, the floor item, because he needs to know whether or not it's the heart container or the bow or the red ring. So he's going to continue looking through here. We know that it's the bow. I mean, it's the heart container. He does not, so he does know where the Triforce is. Though. And as we mentioned, this is a functionally segmented level 6. So JSR is probably going to, once he realizes that, go back, pick up the Triforce, and then be like, yeah, peace out, Cub Scout, I'm gone.
And now while Rick is searching for the bow and possibly the red ring here in 9, he is also listening for the Roar of Zelda to kind of know where he needs to go in order to slay the beast. And he's also looking for a shutter door that doesn't open whenever he clears out all the enemies in the room. That will tell him that the beast is, or, well, not the beast, but Ganon is waiting behind the door for him to rescue. But before he can do that, he does have to take out Zelda.
One of the other lovely little additions here to the randomizer. It's been in there for quite a while now, but if you play as a bad guy, you have to fight the girl and kill the beast. Or save the beast. Excuse me. The JSR coming up to the functional segment where we find the aforementioned room of the aforementioned princess.
Absolutely, and my apologies. I was just in a mental mob song there. And Rick finds the first item in 9. It is the red ring here, so he still does have to find the bow.
Do you know how hard it was for me to not start singing the mob song? I mean, especially with as many times as JSR had to go through the woods.
Yeah, but I don't think any of our runners would consider this one exciting ride.
I don't think anyone would consider it one exciting ride at this point. Oh, but what is going to be exciting is the map of level 9, and yep, it's still Swiss cheese.
Well, this one almost looks like a meteor coming down.
Yeah, that's an interesting hint, though. Rupees! Guard the compass.
Ooh, our favorite rupee boss.
I mean, I do like rupees. JSR going back into 6, he has to know what that floor item is. I don't blame him. I'd hate to be wandering around 9 and not have to need it. So Rick gonna go ahead and reset, and this time make his way up from start to see what progress he can make there. And this is a very much a hands-on level 6 as wall masters everywhere.
Yeah, they pretty much invaded Hyrule tonight.
Gotta love it.
So a bunch of shutter doors here for Rick. He is going to opt to go right to finish out that far right column, but, well, not really an effective room here.
I mean, he gets bombs. Bombs are always nice. The one good thing about what we're seeing in this room is the enemies in here could be killed with the wand, so he can just walk into the bubbles no problem and not have to worry about it. I mean, there's some rupees, so this could be the compass.
Could also be the bow because it is a staircase, and we have transport.
And there's the compass.
Yeah, that's the really nice thing. You pick up 1 rupee and leave the room, the rupee boss dies. So, and wow, that is quite the spot for Zelda or the captured to be.
Yeah, 100%. And the other thing to note here is now, with all of this information that Rick has, he only has to kill rooms that have doors blocking his way. Like this one, for example. Now that he knows where the kidnapped is located, he only has to worry about killing rooms that would block his way. Anything else, he can just forget.
Yeah, that parry might be useful, Rick. So JSR trying to now figure out, okay, where do I need to go in 6 to find this other item? Really wanting to find it before just going to level 9. And we have 2 finishers, like back to back. King Doll within time of 2 hours, 19 minutes, 15 seconds. 6 seconds later, Unos in 7th place.
Yeah, this was definitely definitely something here. Yeah, Rick is going to have to backtrack his way to figure out what's in these last couple of rooms over here. And of course, like always, you're looking for something in level 9. It's never going to be in the first couple of staircases.
JSR might actually be rechecking the flags for this randomizer. May not even realize that Bo can be a 9.
I think he does now.
Yeah.
And look where Rue is. Rue is rechecking everything in the graveyard here.
Now, something interesting to know, I just saw Rue do, is he pushed that one gravestone from the side. So he may have originally done that. Gravestones do not push from the side, they only push from the top.
Or bottom.
Right, but you don't ever want to push a gravestone from the bottom.
No, but the option's there.
So Rick is still doing his exploration of 9. I do not know where JSR is currently going.
Nor do I. Just a roundabout way to get where he needs to go, I guess?
Possibly.
Yep, just a roundabout way of getting there.
Okay. That's okay then. I was really confused for a second. I'm like, why is he heading back towards Death Mountain?
Oh, the overworld's mirrored, so I think we're all confused. And JSR has made it into level 9. Also, one thing you might have noticed that we kind of just sort of glossed over it a little bit, but Krim, did you happen to see? Well, Rick's in a room highlighting it right now. What's this two-headed dragon doing in my level 9?
Oh, you mean the fact that we can now shuffle dungeon bosses and really put them in any sort of configuration, meaning any boss can make their way into level 9 now.
Yeah, initially when the first bit of coding for that was being taken care of, the only thing that we could initially switch out was Dig Doggers for Patras, but now it's any of them. JSR is going to be lucky here if he doesn't initially take this staircase. Well, he now knows the compass is there, so he also is going to know where Zelda is. Unfortunately, he doesn't have the map, so he is still still blindly going his way through.
Yeah, and actually on JSR's side, so we know Rick has... Oh, never mind, that's Gleok. I was going to say Ganon because I'm so not used to seeing Gleoks in 9. But we also have Manhandla in 9 here. Just kind of hoping that we'd have heard of Ganon.
Yeah, no, you gotta love everything sort of getting in on the level 9 act here. JSR going to have to be careful a little bit. He is only at a half a heart, and I was going to say being at a half a heart's not the place you want to be in that room with a Gleok, and that's the reason why.
No, so it'll be interesting to see if it changes his route or if he chooses to go back up there and retry at that. Now, I did note that Saver said in chat about 2 runners being red. JSR does not currently have the red ring. It is just his sprite does not utilize the palette for the tunic, except I believe in the either nose or eyes, which is really hard to see anyway. So you won't really be able to tell the tunic that JSR is wearing, but he is currently still on blue tunic.
Yeah, interesting thing to note here. I'm having a hard time every time Rick is fighting the Linkarias there. Simply because when I play this, I play as the Darknet sprite, so I'm used to seeing the Link enemies as Darknets, and I'm like, wait, how can you stab the Darknets from the front? Oh, wait, those are Gorillas.
And we do have our 8th place finisher, Zarnex, at 2:24.19.
Yeah, so it has been asked in chat a couple times here what the numbers next to our runners mean. That's just the number of times they've done the day reset, because again, this is the Groundhog's Day race, so ! Groundhog in the chat here on Twitch will get you the information. For those of you who might be watching this post, we did describe a little bit of what was going on here in the beginning, but the summary is for the first 2 hours and 15 minutes, every 45 minutes is the maximum you can have for each day, and you have to retry after that. Any information you gain from that is, of course, able to be used. Once you pass the 2 hour, 15-minute mark, you can just go ahead and finish the seed that you were on, which is what we're seeing all of our runners do right now.
Also, I wonder at this point if Rick would be rathering the compass lead him to the bow and not so much to a kidnapped area that he cannot really act.
So yeah, this level 9 is something.
Remember that thing about level 9 taking possibly 15 minutes?
It's taken a whole lot more than that.
Absolutely, and we do have another finisher, Random Effect in 9th place with 2 hours, 25 minutes, 29 seconds. So, yeah, in addition to all the runners that we see on screen here, we are showcasing just how many heavy hitters we've had on this and just how rough these seeds can be sometimes. So, definitely a good game to all of our runners, including the ones that we have on screen. So, be sure to give all 4 of them a follow. And there it is, JSR has found the bow.
So JSR being the first to find the bow, not Rick, who was in here quite a bit faster than JSR was, although Rick is in the area that he needs to be in. So now the question becomes, does JSR know where Ganon is?
We have not heard Ganon on JSR side at all, so I do not believe. We will have to see if not only if he hears the word Ganon, but maybe if he finds a hint that directs him in that location.
Well, we've already seen 2 of our 3 hints. It was what guarded the compass and where the silvers were. So we have a 50-50 chance of finding the hint about Ganon and a 50-50 chance of finding the hint about the girl. And, well, we already know where she is. JSR going to have to be very conservative with his bombs here, only having 2. The any key definitely helps with that, though. And Rick is going to find the bow here in this room, so Rick now has the last piece of the puzzle that he needs.
And with how much Rick has explored, remember we have not heard his audio, so he may already know the location of the beast. Doing an immediate update tells me that he does, because otherwise he probably would have continued searching on there, so I believe that Rick probably does have the location of the beast.
Yeah, there was a room he entered in and stopped for a minute, and then entered back in the way he came, so I'm pretty sure he does know where the beast is. Yeah, JSR going to go ahead and take this this staircase to get him place himself somewhere, and that's a good place to be, but I don't know if that's going to be the location he needs to get to, because I think that is just an isolated staircase.
Yeah, and only having 1 bomb, that makes it even worse, because then you're playing roulette, and if you miss, you're completely out of bombs, so definitely one that you don't want to really run into.
Now, Rick's going to go ahead and clear up this way a little bit so we can try and block clip his way in here a second time and get it a little bit, but then the gorilla said, no thank you, I'm going to smack you with this boomerang and you're going to get out of that block clip because I don't like you cheating. Rue is now also in level 9, down on the bottom left-hand side of our screen.
So where Rick is and where JSR is, they're not too far apart, but Rick seems to be on a path and indeed has found Ganon.
Interesting note. Yeah, interesting note there. It looks like it's a one-way entry into Zelda's room there, and you have to go through Ganon's room to get there, because JSR was just below the compass, and there was no way in.
Yeah, and Rick demonstrated earlier that you couldn't actually bomb into that room north of Zelda. So, yeah. But Rick taking an unfortunate death.
Little Hyrule driver action taking out Rick, so he's going to have to make his way back there and fight Zelda a second time. I believe this is one of the staircases JSR does need to take to get himself where he needs to go.
I don't know, there are so many twists and turns here and none. I have no clue the route to get back there.
Oh yeah, no, the level of twists and turns, I'm a little seasick myself, but yeah, this, I think, yeah. JSR goes down one more, he'll hear Ganon. Yeah, he hears Ganon.
Definitely just check the easy doors first.
Yeah, I might as well. But yeah, that's JSR is near where Ganon is. Rick's making his way back over there as well. JSR is hoping and praying that this bomb wall is going to open up for him. We know it's going to, but yeah, we are there. Both Rick and JSR are going to be coming into this Ganon fight at approximately the same time here. So it's going to be who has the better Ganon fight here, how the next room after that's going to treat them. So JSR in the Ganon fight, Rick in the Ganon fight, and we are all kinds of close here. Both of our runners.
So Rick gets his, or I'm sorry, JSR gets his stun lock. Rick looking to get his too. JSR does take the pig down, so he is going to be able to make his way on over to find the location to Zelda. Rick right behind. Oh my goodness, what a finish here.
Yeah, so JSR going to sneak in just ahead of Rick. JSR going to finish with an SRL time of 2 hours, 31 minutes, and 8 seconds. Rick right behind with an SRL time of 2 hours, 31 minutes, and 13 seconds. Wow. So in other news now, the bottom side of your screen, Rue is continuing his way through level 9. Japheth has picked up the Triforce out of level 6, and now he just has that upside trifecta of 1, 5, and 7 left to do. Also, real quick, I do want to note here, you'll notice that there is a little bit of difference here in the screens between JSR and Rick. And that was what we were mentioning earlier with the, on the randomizer, there was a flag labeled question mark, question mark, question mark. And what it is going to do is going to change the tune that the recorder is going to make every time. And as you can see on Rick's side, it tells you what the tune is. It was Heatman's theme this time.
Speaking of Rick and JSR, both of them have joined us here. Wow.
Yeah.
Those flags really messed with you there at the end, didn't they, JSR?
I didn't really read through them as thoroughly as I probably should have. I mean, the secret spot got me, and that wasn't a flag issue. That was, I didn't know that the graves could be moved like that. So I had already marked that spot off as that I had checked it. That was a big reason why I had no shot at finishing in my second run, because I couldn't find 6. So I was digging out items like the raft and the power bracelet, knowing full well that it had to have been one of those places, and turns out it wasn't. But the important items in 9 part, that was my fault, 100%.
Yeah, it was interesting for sure. Both of you really, at the end of your second day, just missing one small piece of information that you needed in order to complete everything. Rick, you actually got in a little bit of a third day before fully resetting. Once you found level 8, you said, okay, now I'm going to finally do my final run.
It appears that we're going to be dealing with some Discord being Discord stuff. So we do have JVEF picking up the Triforce out of level 7. He's just got the Triumvirate ladder, the 2 left of 5 and 1 here over in the corner of Death Mountain. Rue is continuing to make his way through level 9. He is on the partial path he needs to get to, although he needs to get to that bottom corner first to get the bow. Also, I forgot how much I love and hate shapes at the same time.
So, while we're hoping to get Rick audible here, JSR, do you have any final comments or anything about the seed?
Well, I did want to mention first. Well, first off, GG's to everybody. And congrats to Third on winning. I believe this is the 4th annual, or is this the 5th annual? I believe it's 4th.
4th, yes.
And, you know, I love these special event races. I mean, personal salt notwithstanding, I had a blast. I always do, and I wish there were more of these. The Valentine's Day race is gaining some traction. That was big the last couple years, and I hope everybody, if they're not, you know, busy because it just so happens to be Valentine's Day, would be down to join that one as well, because it's a lot of fun. And I would love to see more of these special rule sets for holidays. So if anybody out there is creative and can put together a cool rule set or flag set for a holiday, I mean, I know the community loves this race, and props to everybody behind the scenes. I know Unos is a big proponent of this flag set, and then obviously everybody over at Randomania, you guys for the commentary. This thing's getting bigger every year, and it's awesome to see.
Let's try this.
Hey, there he is.
Yeah, we're Rick now.
Yeah, well, to answer the questions, because obviously you couldn't hear me the first go around, I reset after finding level 8 on my 3rd day. Was more of a, okay, first of all, now I know where all the levels are, we're gonna go and do this for real. And number 2, it was my first reset after the 130 mark, so therefore the mercy rules in effect.
Yeah, a lot of the other runners actually reset right around the 45-minute mark, so with the way the resets were, they didn't have to worry, but you did reset your first one a little bit before 45, so obviously your second one had to be a little bit before that cutoff, so we totally understood it, and, you know, right after finding 8, totally made sense to restart there. But I mean, goodness, just trying to find everything in this level, in this seed, was quite crazy.
Yeah, for me it was a case of, you guys saw as part of the for day 1 and day 2 was I was bombing everything trying to figure out where that spot was. I missed just that one spot that triggered the spot where level 4 is.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely something that as you sort of get into these and sort of look at all the information that Unos put out, just trying, like, it's great to have the information that Eunice gave about where bomb spots can potentially be. That's based off the information that Fred provided us, but trying to remember that and access that within the randomizer while running a seed is just really difficult. So, and then you have places like level 4 where it can literally be any one of the areas along the top there.
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of those Death Mountain spots or like the coast that you just, you know, they're going to be trolly when you get there. You know that you're going to have to bomb literally everything, but then you have this temptation to just go nuts, and you have to remember, okay, they can only be certain spots. You have a limited amount of resources. You really have to just take your time, stay calm, because I mean, in a race, you know, your mind is going a million miles an hour. You're trying to rush things, and it's easy to start bombing spots that can't even be holes, or if you didn't find the red candle, burning the wrong trees or whatever, you know. So it definitely was nice to have that information, but I caught myself a few times doing that and had to say, hey, you got this, man. Just calm down. It's okay.
How nice, though, that most of the good items were accessible kind of easily.
Except for one.
Well, the bow being a special little thing itself.
But
Yeah,
other than that,
speaking
yeah, I
of
mean, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, speaking about Rue did just get that, and of course you can hear Ganon easily from the bow area, but can't access him so easily.
That was another fun little caveat of these this particular seed was the keys, and how there were like 2 levels that just had dozens of them, it felt like, and then all the other ones had key blocks everywhere and there were no keys. And I got the hint early when I found the book in my first day that the magic key was in 6. So the whole time I'm thinking all I got to do is find 6. And I mean, and by the way, for the restreamers, I don't know if my game audio was still on, and I apologize that I came in, but I was literally clicking forfeit. I was this close to forfeiting.
We actually did, the only mic that we got was you just saying, I honestly don't know where else to look. I've gone everywhere. And that's all we picked up, but like it just shows some of the frustration that can exist with stuff like this. So definitely kudos to you for seeing it out and actually, you know, not hitting that button and just rechecking and retracing your steps there.
Yeah, I mean, that was literally the last place on the map that I had an X on the spot that I had checked it and there was nothing there. And if I hadn't been there, I didn't know what else to do at that point. So it definitely, I learned something about flag sets like this. You can't just assume that, you know, your past experience, your vanilla skill, that kind of thing is going to carry you. I mean, Fred has done an amazing job in evolving the randomizer and adding features, and this is not the randomizer from early 2008. You know, this is completely different, and if you go into it unprepared, and I was not nearly as prepared as I thought I was, and if you do, you're going to have a bad time. And I mean, I'm lucky I was able to finish it all, let alone in 10th place. I'll take 10th place for how I played the night.
Yeah.
And if only if I didn't die again, and it would have been flip-flopped a different direction, but 5 seconds apart. Good job, JSR.
I hope it was at least exciting for the viewers on Randomania to see you and I right there with each other. And GG's to you, Rick.
GG, thank you. Hey, 2 swag arrows. Woo!
Yeah, unfortunately, Rue had part of the stun lock partially, but Ganon broke out of it and then decided to go full-on high-roll driver, and unfortunately, Rue's going to have to make his way back to Ganon.
And Javeth has now collected all of his Triforce pieces, so he'll be making his way towards level 9 to do his bow hunt. Unfortunately, that bow is just so annoying in level 9. Now, just one note, there is a possibility, just because of time constraints and everything, us being on the East Coast here and it being almost 12:30, we may end up cutting stream a little bit, if depending on JVeth's situation. But if we do, we will go ahead and send our host over to JVeth, just so everyone here can continue to watch him to the end of the level. Rue, giving the information that he knows, will be able to finish Ganon here relatively soon.
Well, I will let you guys cheer them to the finish line. Again, GG's Rick. Congrats to Thierwolf and everybody in the race for having a good job, and I hope everyone enjoyed it. And I look forward to doing this again next year. I got to come back and try to take that title back, so we'll see how I can do.
We'll look forward to it. Thanks again, JSR, and Rick as well. Definitely did a wonderful job showcasing your talent and these flags tonight for us. So once again, if you're not already following any of these 4 fine runners or any of the other names that we've mentioned going through here, definitely do so. All worth the follow, especially with the upcoming All Boards No Swords tournament that will be starting here in a few days.
Yeah, absolutely. And Rue is over here in the Ganon fight. It looks like he has a stun lock. We almost had a disco Ganon there. Looks like we have a couple left. Yeah, just the one. There we go. That is going to be it on the hit on Ganon. Throwing a couple more silver arrows Ganon's way, just to ensure that the pig is in fact. But with that, Rue is going to go ahead and find his princess and finish in a 14th place time of 2 hours, 44 minutes, and 58 seconds.
Was there any final thoughts from you, Rick, before we get ready to send everyone over towards JVeth?
None at all. Just like I said, I probably out after the mindset of how I went to this race should have altered a couple of strategies, but it is what it is. Congrats to Thierwolf, congrats to Fred, who clobbered this amongst everyone else here.
Absolutely. It's great because this is our 4th year and this is our 4th different victor that we've had. So even more encouragement for everyone to come out and participate, get to see, different winners every year. We definitely like that. So, but I think overall, that may do it for us tonight. So we can send a restreamer off to bed. So we are going to go ahead and send JVeth the host. So go ahead and support him as he finishes. Head on over to his stream. It is twitch.tv/JVeth. And thank you everyone again for stopping by. TGE, do you want to do all the runner commentator and send us on out?
Oh, of course. So first things first, on behalf of all 4 runners we had on stream, that would be JSR, Adirondack, Rick, Rue Slugs, and JVeth. Make sure you give them a follow if you haven't already. On behalf of our support team behind the scenes, our tracking team of Dark Falls and Eraser, and of course our restreamer of OPT Lawyer, and of course on behalf of my commentary partner Crimson Avix, I am the Green Leaf Effect, reminding everybody to have a wonderful evening and to, of course, remember to always keep hailing.